Hey everybody, and welcome to another video on my channel. Today we will be talking about this great setup on EURUSD. So if you want to learn how to take setups like this, why you shouldn't be greedy and where to take your profits, please watch this video. Also, we hit 100 subscribers, so I have a little surprise at the end of the video. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and like the video so more people get to see this. But enough intro, let's start with the video. So on EURUSD we are in an uptrend for the last couple of months, and my idea was to play in continuation and to play the buy. So we had a couple reaccumulations and we tested the last reaccumulation perfectly on the last shakeout of the reaccumulation. So there was a big possibility to make a new high. So that was my idea at the start of the week, to continue this uptrend and break this high. So we got another big reaccumulation. And when we look at the lower time frame, we can see some nice reaccumulations forming again. So we have a few reaccumulations here, and we test the last reaccumulation around the 50%. So at that moment I went to the lower time frame, the 5 seconds, and we can see the price moving down. We hit our target or our point of interest and also hit the 80%. So as we can see, we form our first accumulation. So at this point I was starting to look for entries, but I couldn't take this accumulation because it wasn't part of my plan. So this high needed to break, at least for me. So a few moments later we also broke that high, and we can see after the break we form another accumulation. So we have two schematics which broke. So we have a point of interest, we have two schematics. The next step for me was to, and I'm going to delete this Fibonacci, is to draw another Fibonacci. And this accumulation also wasn't valid for me, so I couldn't take an entry at first. And we have a Fibonacci, we can see some liquidity here. So my idea was to look for buys in this zone. It was the best zone to buy and to take it to a new high. So we can see that we slowly moved to that point of interest, and we tested the lower accumulation. So I was now looking for a change of character, and we can go to the 1 second. And yes, you can go to the 1 second. You have to be more focused sometimes because it goes really fast. But we see, but this was the high I wanted to break, because then we have a change of character, because this is the last big high in this trend. So I'm going to the 5 seconds, so it goes a bit faster, and we see we break and we have a change of character. So yet again pulled out my Fibonacci, measure from the high to the low of the shakeout, and I put my entry a bit above the 50%. I always do 2 pipette, 3 pipette. So you won't, so your entry won't miss. And we started to make a new high, and we can see another bit of liquidity forming. So there was great confirmation, there was liquidity, so there was a big possibility for it to take the liquidity and shoot up. And as the market moved down, it went up and made another high, so you can also say we have liquidity here. So we still have a nice bit of liquidity above the entry, and we tapped in, and I targeted the new high for a 127 risk to reward. And as we see, I'm going to a bit higher time frame, it did take profit. It is really important to see what happened after, because my first thought was to take a 1 to 10 or higher, but I went for a 1 to 7, just a new high, and after that we made another short-term high and we came down. Would have hit my break even, but we also broke the low. So now we have the great trade, hit TP, but why did I take profit at a new high? First of all, it was a really great risk to reward. So 1 to 7, you don't need more in reality. So that was great, but there was also a higher time frame aspect that was really important. And that was the fact that we came in a higher time frame redistribution. So in a higher time frame redistribution, there is a big chance of sellers coming into the market, and the 18 and 50% are great zones for sellers to come in the market, come into the markets and start selling off. It may be a little push, it may be a big move. In this case, it was only a little push. As you can see, we went higher, broke this high. So after we broke, we had another big reaccumulation. But you can see we were on a 1 second right inside of our bigger redistribution in a supply zone where we can see sellers come into the market. So only if I was really greedy, I would take it to 1 to 10, maybe even further, and it would have hit my break even. So that's one really important thing to understand. Sometimes it's better to take a lower take profit and be happy with the profit you take than trying to target to a 1 to 10 to 1 to 20, only to share it on social media that you have had a big hit. But in reality, a 1 to 5 is more than enough when your win rate is about 50%, maybe lower. Even if it's 20%, you can still be really profitable in the end. Maybe if you take it to 1 to 6, 1 to 7. So those are all things to consider when you're taking your profits. Now, I hope you found it a valuable breakdown and you maybe learned a thing or two. But of course, I also had a little surprise. I have no course or anything, and I don't think I will ever make one. But I thought it would be nice to give away a free coaching for one of you. You only need to be a subscriber on my channel, so please subscribe and like this video if you haven't done yet. And you need to put your biggest struggle in the comments. The next week I will choose one of you from the comments and I will let you know who's the winner. This was it for today, and I hope to see you all next week.